again, we will start off now. Thank you for coming. And Willie, our VP of Products and Service, will be leading a very informative demo on how to best set up and use roles and securities in CVS Dude. And at this our screen, and at any moment we can stop and go ahead and answer that. But the basic format today will be about a 20 to 30-minute demo initially, followed by questions afterwards, open question sessions, unless you have any specific burning questions parsed the way through. So, Willie, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you.
All right. Again, feel free to ask any questions. We have a small group here, so it would be good to have some type of interaction. So what I'd like to walk through in more detail is our new role-based security system. But I wanted to discuss it via more of a case scenario in terms of setting up a new project and what would it look like and how easy it is to do that. So let's take, for example, that you have already signed on to CVS Dude in our dashboard, and you can see the activity fee as well as some of the initial homepage view. Now the next thing I want to do is I just want to go ahead and create a new project. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create a test project for our training. Now once the project is created, you probably have already done this, you will see that you'll be taken to the project dashboard page. Now on this project dashboard page, there are a couple of things that are related to roles and security. First, under the People section, you will see the general project access as well as the detailed project access. And then you have the Services section. The People tab will control the security using our role-based system, and the Services allows you to add the different services that we provide. So I will go ahead and first add the services. For most of you, you probably use Subversion, you may use DevDrive, and perhaps Bugzilla or Track. So I'm just going to add four of these services here. Now the great thing about CVS Dude is that we actually provision these services in less than 5 minutes. So within 5 minutes, all these services will be available. There will be some background job that gets run and actually create these services. So instead of you installing Subversion, that's why you come to this cloud-based service that we have for this very quick provisioning. Now what you will see here is that once these services are created, if I go to the general project access and I go to the user, I am the Copello user, which is I logged in. And by default, the Copello user will be added this general project access to all the services. So this is a quick way so that when whoever creates the service will basically have rewrite access to all the services below it. And so for us to talk a little bit about what this general project access actually means, I'm going to go into our role system and show you what the rights with those roles are. So if you go to the People tab and go to Roles, you will see a default role called General Project Access Read Write. Within the whole new role-based security system, you basically have several default roles. You have the Administrator default role, you have a CVS default role Dev, a Finance, General Project Access, SVN Developer, SVN Viewer, and in addition to that, you can create custom roles. Now, before I go into the general project access role, I'd like to really quick explain the difference between sort of groups versus roles and how it relates to users. So if you think about a group is essentially a collection of users. You can have, it's just an easy way for you to manage your users because you have multiple users in a group. Now, role is different. A role is a collection of permissions or rights in our system. Okay? So it's not so much related. They are related, but they're separate concepts. So you can have a role that has finance right, that has administration right, that has SVN read or rights, and that collection of rights or permission for that role defines for your business who can do what in our system. Okay? So you can apply a specific role like the administrator role or the finance role or the SVN developer role to either a group or a user. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the general project access role. So you will see here that with the general project access role, which is, again, default role, you have all the read-write access to all the services that we provide in Track, in CVS, in Subversion, Bugzilla, as well as DAV. Okay? And this is a very quick way to configure security actually on your project. So I'm going to go back to the project that I had before. So for your typical case, if you want a very quickly, a simple way to allow a user or a group to very quickly access your project, the easiest way would be to use the general project access read-write access. So in here, you can very quickly add a group or user that you want, and they would have access to all of your services underneath your project. Okay. Now the next thing I'd like to talk about is sort of more of the detailed access here. This is where you can see a view of detailed access that somebody has access to your actually project. Okay. Now you will see that I have more people that have access than that was in the general project access, and the reason is because of our role-based security system. And if you look at our overall structure, we have organizations, projects, and services. And with our role-based security, we can actually cast down permissions throughout that hierarchy. And I'll show you how that works and how it relates to the detailed access. So let's go ahead and take a look at the detailed access here, but via our role assigner, which is the overall security hierarchy that we have. And that will be under the security tab. So since you're all Professional Edition customers, you have a security tab that will give you an easy way to manage security for all your projects, all your services via this hierarchy. So you will see that my organization is Capello, and I have a list of all my projects here. And you also see that we have the roles training project with its services underneath the project. The first thing I want you to see is I want you to see what's on top, which is at the organizational level. So here, you will see that at the organizational level, what we've done here is we've assigned myself, Capello, another user, Mango, as well as one of our support engineers, Raja, that has administrator role. Because you assign a role at this level, it will cascade down all the way down to the lowest level. So for example, if I go down to our newly created project role training, you will see all the inheritance that happened from the higher level. Now with our system, you can actually have very granular control of the security if you wanted to. So for example, if you wanted to not have the Capello user, for example, having access to this project, you could do that. You can basically click on revoke, and you can say, I either want to revoke this role entirely. What that means is it will revoke this Capello user with the administrator role completely out of your security system. That's one method. And the other way, which is revoke this role only from here and down, which means you're only revoking the access for that user or group from the roles training project and down. So they won't have access to that. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to do revoke this role only from here and down. And once you click that, you will see that in the UI, it shows you that this particular user will not have access below for that role. Okay. Now there will be some interaction between this, the different levels hierarchy of sort of roles of security that you have. So for example, in this case, even though I have revoked the Capello user access, I still have the general access on the project.